St. John's Cross. Dr. George Doherty, minister of the New York Avenue Presbyterian Church, examines the reproduction of the famous Celtic symbol, which will be dedicated tomorrow. The original St. John's Cross is a 14-foot stone cross that stands on a granite pedestal beside the tomb of St. Columba, visit in 561 AD by St. Columba, who helped bring Christianity to this Celtic land, which means they made you forget of your foremothers and forefathers' Gnosis. The Presbyterian Church is a hereditary heir of this early church. Maybe to the church, but you're not an heir to the land. Retains features of original. As a work of art, the bronze replica made by the Celtic Arc Industries of Scotland preserved the beauties and intricate symbolism of the St. John's Cross. There is, for instance, the circle that seems to hold the upright and cross beams together. The circle, a feature of all Celtic crosses, symbolizes the sun, an early form of worship. But it wasn't a worship. We was measuring time. We was getting knowledge. We was feeding our plants and all of that. They had believed that someday the sun would visit the earth in human form. When truth is sent by God to be manifested in flesh, that is a prophet. Just like the ways that sun rays come through your home's windows, truth and art will come through the windows of your eyes and your ears for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. St. Columba had told them that this had happened in the birth of Christ. Thus, on the cross, the Son had been crucified forever, and he has it spelled S-U-N, which means really he hung your ancestors' traditions, gnosis, and knowledge and recordings on the cross to be crucified for eternity. See, everyone always uses an excuse that once Jesus came, then the laws changed. But Jesus said, I've came not to change one jot or tittle of the law. They always use his crucifixion as means to change the law, just like with Paul, with many different things. But Jesus said, or Yehoshua said, I have come not to change one jot or tittle of the law. The circle is known as the perfection of man or woman, and that comes through the light of truth. So they was really crucifying your truth on their cross, which Jesus is justice crucified on the cross. Also, we was studying all nature's law, all law within man or woman, which is what Allah is, arm, leg, arm, head. We're connected with nature. Like I'm born in September. I'm ruled by Venus. Every month, the universe affects your organs, your feelings, and everything. You got to know how to measure that. They have you thinking that these times are just for feast. Legends of the Holy Grail. This study shows how they slid in the Christian stories and took out the original Celtic stories, considered chiefly with references to their Celtic origin. Now, one of the characters in their tales is the Celtic war god Grail, with his enchanted spear and cauldron. He is associated with Avalon, and he is the link by which the Oriental legends of Nicodemus, early popular in Great Britain and centering around Joseph of Arimathea, the saint of Glastonbury, were brought into connection with the cycles of Peredur and his brother Gawain. This was done in the 12th century, and the result was the spiritualization of the whole story and the bestowal upon the Grail of that deep religious and ethical meaning, which reaches its full expression when Galliard supersedes Percival as the Grail hero, and when the quest is made the turning point of the whole Arthurian cycle. The history of the Grail is thus the history of the gradual transformation of the old Celtic folktales into a poem charged with Christian symbolism and mysticism. The 12th century looked for a fit vehicle to express the new ideas, the new feelings, which were stirring is so profoundly, and this is to be found in adaptation of Welsh myths. So they amalgamated all your stuff and hung your stuff on the cross for eternity. I will close with belief and unbelief. From the Celtic twilight, there are some doubters even in the western villages. One woman told me last Christmas that she did not believe in either hell or in ghosts. Hell, she thought, was merely an invention got up by the priests to keep people good. True indeed. People do good for fear of doing evil, but that's not love to God. There are three types of people. There are those who pray and do good for God in hopes of getting into heaven, and that's a salesman. Then there are those who do good and pray to God for fear of going to hell, and those are who you call slaves. But there are those who do good and pray to God because they love God, and those are who you call true freemen. And ghosts would not be permitted, she held, to go trapsing about the earth at their own free will. But there are fairies, she added, and little leprechauns, and water horses and fallen angels. I have met also a man with a mohawk tattooed upon his arm who held exactly similar beliefs and unbeliefs. But we don't walk by belief, or we don't walk by faith and not by sight. We walk by sight of knowing and light. Yehoshua said, my people suffer from lack of knowing. But now you're saying you walk by faith and not by sight. But you have faith mixed up with belief. You believe, but you don't know, and you don't have faith until you know. Then you live in fruition. So in regards to the cross and the circle, we know it has 4 cardinal points. We know it measures the zodiac constitution in connection with the universe and nature and connected with us and laws. Peace and love.